You know what I love? Efficiency. That's why we're going to do a little multitasking. I'm going to do the episode, and you're going to help me with my homework. At the end of this week, we have at Santa Cruz DSA our first housing working group meeting. And we're going to be deciding, or gearing up to decide, who knows how efficient we'll be, but we're going to be deciding on a campaign for the fall. We're gonna try something out. We've been talking to our members. We asked them what's a big problem in town. Everyone says housing because, of course, they do, because this is Santa Cruz.
Most expensive place to live in the country, right?
3 years running, and we're gonna do something about it, but we haven't decided what. I'm gonna need both of y'all's help on this one. I've got a tier list here.
S tier, arson.
Okay, well, hold that thought. We'll put that in at the end. So, my first idea for a housing campaign for the fall is a rent control measure.
What kind of a rent control measure?
Doesn't matter.
Well,
D tier or lower, if that's possible.
whoa.
Right. Rent control. Here's what I think rent control is. You put a percentage increase cap on like how much rent can go up on a unit year after year.
Yeah.
That's what rent control is, right?
Uh-huh. Or like a rent freeze for a period of time while some other measure goes into effect, like the building of public housing.
Right. Yeah, I hate it. I think like it just doesn't work. I mean, yeah, it works for incumbents, which is like exactly the problem. Like, yeah, that will lock people in place. It will,
disincentivize building more housing, which is one of the main things that needs to be done.
Right.
Okay. Well, hang on.
It doesn't do anything to lower prices.
Well, okay, so true, but if you're concerned about people being kicked out of their homes onto the street, I'd say that keeping people in their homes is pretty good, right? And that's like something that's been happening in Santa Cruz in a big way. Tons of people kicked out onto the street because they can no longer afford their rent because of increased rent prices.
I'm going to bring up my favorite logical fallacy of the, like, just because you're pointing at a legitimate problem does not mean your solution is legitimate.
Amen. Right. I mean, people get kicked out of their house, like, because they lose their job or because they have a big medical bill. And, it's not only rent going up that causes people to lose their homes. So, I mean, rent control would not be a good solution for this.
Yeah. I view this as like it's a good solution for like a small percentage of people, and it doesn't fix anything over the long term, and in fact makes things worse over the long term.
Agreed. D tier. Don't do it, socialists.
You know what?
Bad socialists.
Rent control. I think rent control is part of a good solution because you are serving your community, right? When you say it's good for incumbents, that's the community. You want to keep people in their homes so they can be the community who gets the other solutions for like better housing done.
Yeah, but if they just got their rent control and they're sitting fine, why are they incentivized to help anybody else out, right? This is exactly the problem with homeowners we already have.
It's like NIMBYism for renters.
All right, well, I'll just put it here then.
Good boy.
Okay. So, we've got vacancy tax.
I'm intrigued.
This is a tax on vacant housing. If your house is not being utilized, you could face a fine of some kind, and it's just an incentive for you to rent out your property.
This one's fine, I think. This one's pretty good. I would say like S or A tier. It's not like a whole solution by itself or anything, but it does help. There are more vacant houses in the United States than there are homeless people.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I like it too. I'm kind of curious about like the administration of it. How will you enforce it?
Zoran Mamdani comes to your house and he knocks on the door at 3 a.m. and he checks if you're really there.
That's exactly how it works. Let's use some examples.
Can we put rent control back in the D tier? I'm sorry I said good boy. That was a little bit.
No, it's staying in S tier because you were a dick about it. So vacancy tax has been implemented in other places.
But it's a bad idea, Phil. Can't we put it in D tier? Or maybe
Well, it was a bad idea to be a dick about it, so it's staying in S.
But it's confusing the audience.
Hey, audience, are you confused about David being a dick? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, so the vacancy tax has been implemented in other places before. Utah has had a functional vacancy tax since 1982. Washington, D.C. assesses an annual tax of 5 to 10% of property values for vacant or blighted properties since 2010.
Wow. Wait, sorry, what, Washington State does that?
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. 5 to 10% of a property value every year. So, like, if you have $1 million house, that's a $50,000 tax every year. $50,000 to $100,000 tax. That's a lot.
Yeah, you better find an occupant.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, I mean, it's got to be a lot. You need the fine to be big enough to actually incentivize people to utilize the property. If it's not a big enough fine, then people are just going to eat that cost and
the people who have a
continue
whole
their speculation.
Extra empty house are the kind of people who can easily absorb a fine.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
it does need to be punitive.
Well, I mean, even a smaller amount should function as some incentive, right?
Well, a smaller amount will be more easily absorbed, and you don't want it to be easily absorbed.
Right. I mean, you would think, maybe you guys can explain this to me. There's already an incentive to be using your property, right? Because you get more value out of the property if you use it. So, why?
It's clearly not enough of an incentive if we have all these empty houses.
Right. So, but what's up with that?
It's still an asset you own, and it's increasing in value, even if that value is totally theoretical.
It's not totally theoretical. You can borrow money against it, too.
Yeah, you can borrow money against it.
Right.
It might be more valuable to you for that reason.
I think it's basically, these big corporations just don't get around to it, and they're just holding on to it as an investment, not as a money-making per-year venture.
I mean,
they just want to hold on to it for 5 years and then sell it when it's gone up 200%.
You don't get around to it. I don't get it. If you own a bunch of property, you don't get around to renting it out. That's the first person you hire is a property manager to go and list it and rent it out so you can make way more money off of it. Anyway, I don't get it. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe it would be worth understanding it. But sure, I like the idea of a vacancy tax. 10% seems mighty steep. For example, a lot of people, if someone dies and then the heirs have to, a little bit of a, the inheritance wasn't set up right and it takes them a while to figure out what to do with the place. Someone has to just go and bunk there in order to avoid this super steep tax. Because another thing that a high tax incentivizes is cheating or, doing
Won't someone please think of the Nepo babies?
Yeah, I mean, by Nepo babies, I mean, siblings whose parents just died. By aristocracy, I mean, homeowners, 60% of the country whose family owns a
We're getting way too deep in the weeds on this one, boys. This is some obscure ass shit that David is bringing up as an objection here. I think we can finish the discussion on this. Unless anyone has anything actually interesting to say other than bullshit ass hypothetical scenarios that we made up.
I have a real scenario.
That's not a bullshit scenario.
Okay, but you're just I don't want a vacancy tax because of this one possible thing that might happen.
No, I'm saying that, right. So in general, well, you're going to be levying a tax for say 10% of the value of someone's house, a huge tax, $100,000.
But it's not someone's house, dude. No one's living there. That's the point.
They own it. It's their house, right? So
it's not their primary residence, clearly.
Okay.
Yeah. Homes are for living.
All right, but still, when you're gonna,
I think you're trying to wring some sympathy out of us for people, for people's property, not people's residence here.
Well,
I don't
sorry.
know, man.
So, I'm saying, people own something. Someone isn't bad if they own 2 homes, right? Mm.
Okay, but what if someone owns 2 homes and one of them they just let sit empty and do nothing with while people die on the street?
I'm not saying that they should do that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to impose a tax on that magnitude on somebody, you should just think about it a little bit. It's not a wild, crazy scenario to say oh, someone dies, they leave the house to their kids. It takes their kids a few months to sort shit out. Maybe the house is in bad shape, right? who knows? Maybe there's like a legal question over it. And so maybe they're litigating. In this time, like they are going to get charged, what, 10% the value of the house? Like that's a huge tax on people who
but
are
again,
not...
you're just like making up the scenario based on like fine details of like a proposal that we have no fine details on, right?
Okay,
yeah.
well,
It's a two-word proposal called vacancy tax, right? Like we didn't discuss how long it has to be vacant, but like you're just like, well, and if you leave the house empty for 3 months, you'll be charged 10% of your house. But that's like wild fear mongering based on nothing, dude. That's
Okay,
what I'm
I'm
saying.
not-
about
I'm not
I have
bullshit
like
scenario.
more details for like actual examples here. You don't have
Yeah.
to like make up the hypotheticals.
Okay, I wasn't trying to make it up. Like you had said that in this place they have a 10% rate. And I'm saying, man, that's a really high tax. You got to be careful before you start taxing people 10% on their house. Like you can ruin people who are not assholes like by taxing them 10% a year on their house.
But again, it's not like, okay, it's their house in the sense that it's their property, but it's not their house in the like, I'm going to my house. They wouldn't go there, right?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, it's my house in that it is like my like house. Like it's the house that I own. Yes, that's what I meant. But yeah, I wasn't trying to make up crazy numbers. I was just taking the numbers Phil just said. So Phil, what are some of the details of the vacancy tax you're thinking about?
City of Oakland assesses an annual tax of $3,000 to $6,000 on a vacant property. The City of Berkeley assesses an annual tax of $3,000 to $6,000 on residential units that are occupied less than 183 days per year. San Francisco actually had their vacant home tax struck down. San Francisco Superior Court Judge Charles Haynes ruled in favor of property owners who contended the measure violated their rights. He did not state his reasons.
Like what rights did it violate?
Constitutional rights, apparently.
To not be taxed on property? Like what?
Dog, you got me. I don't know. The closest thing I could find in the Constitution would be Article 5 or Amendment 5 of the Bill of Rights. No person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime, blah, 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 nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. So if you
and
make
that's like eminent domain.
if you stretch the idea of public use to mean it would be good for the public to have housing, even if it was sold to a private citizen.
Like, how is this unconstitutional, but property taxes are constitutional?
I think maybe what Phil's saying that kind of makes sense. It's like saying that forcing people to make their home available on the public rental market. It's like commandeering their house in a way if they don't want to rent it.
It's okay to draft me, I guess. Though it's fine to commandeer my whole fucking body.
Yeah. Boy, well, if that's
Sort
against
of.
the if that's unconstitutional, then we have dumb laws and should probably fix that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it actually is constitutional. I think the judge straight up got it wrong. These other cities are able to keep their ordinances, like it doesn't violate constitutional law in their case.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think it's probably fine. They just got a weird roll of the dice, or a judge was bribed. I like vacancy tax. I'm going to move it to A. I'm actually going to move it down to B because a vacancy tax was proposed in Santa Cruz and it failed. So,
what was it like? What kind of vacancy tax was it?
I think it was modeled off of the Berkeley one. Units occupied less than 183 days per year, and then I think it was a percentage. I think it was like 2 to 3% of the value.
Yeah, that's like that's steep, but like not crazy.
Yeah, I really like vacancy tax. I would put in an S tier, except for the fact that it's been tried already and didn't work. I guess that puts it straight in the middle between S and D.
How long ago was
back
this
down
that
here.
it failed?
Was
it recent, or was it
fairly recent?
And probably hasn't changed then.
So this one I've got ban Airbnb. So short-term rentals can boost the property prices. And
can you? Citation needed.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true.
Some people buy houses in order to rent them out on Airbnb, right? So some demand, some housing demand comes from this.
Your ability to have a short-term rental increases the utility of the property and potentially the price. It also incentivizes current property owners who would otherwise sell their home to get the investment back from it to leave it empty essentially and use it as a short-term rental, which reduces the total supply of permanent housing in a city.
So that would increase vacancies at hotels, right? And eventually, like, hotels would go out of business and then get turned into condos, right? Because it's like there's already some amount of demand for, people want to visit Santa Cruz because it's a great place to go for a vacation.
Yeah.
So, like, there's demand for short-term rentals or hotels. But so, yeah,
I think banning Airbnb is bad. It's like such a small percentage of the market. It has low effect on prices. It's one of those things that like people agitate for because it's visible and it feels good, but it's not effective. It wasn't effective in New York City when they banned Airbnb. All it did was hotel prices went up like $30 on average in like a month after Airbnb was banned, and rent prices continued to increase at an astonishing rate.
Boom.
Yeah. I mean, it is low-hanging fruit. That's why cities like New York City, Barcelona, Paris, Berlin, San Francisco, Amsterdam, London have all instituted similar bans. I think it might be too much of a distraction from more impactful measures. So D tier on that one. All right. Here's one I did a little research for. I learned some things about. So we could build public housing. There's a case to be made that the market is just not going to provide the housing we need, and we need to just provide it. Just brute force it. Put people in homes that they can afford.
I kind of like it. I think, like a vacancy tax, it can take a lot of forms.
Public housing is not a new phenomenon in America. In fact, the reason I put this on the tier list is because in my sort of quest to find successful campaigns that the DSA has implemented around the country, I was perusing their sort of public platform, and one thing they listed was as like their goals for Congress is to abolish the Faircloth Amendment. Have you heard of the Faircloth Amendment?
I have not.
Okay, so the Faircloth Amendment limits the building of public housing countrywide to the amount of public housing that existed in 1999.
That peak of our civilization.
That is really stupid.
That is just a law on the books in America right now. Like we are limited to 1999 levels of public housing. I don't think we're at 1999 levels. My understanding of public housing is that it kind of goes down over time unless there's, public outcry. Those units get sold off to private interests to cover some city financial crisis at one point or another. So I think if we did like a little research as like a community, we could figure out like if we could build public housing and then like get a project going.
What kind of public housing would you like to build?
I don't know, like an apartment complex, like just some building somewhere. I mean,
and like, yeah. And so like, would you imagine this would be like subsidized rent, or it's basically just like public in that it's just like owned by the government. The government built it. The government did what it could to make it cheap. It's nothing fancy. But
maybe
it's just
we could
more
go up to
stock.
the hills and kind of recreate the Hobbiton set from Lord of the Rings and just kind of drill into the hills and build our houses that way.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I guess.
Just get around the Faircloth Amendment, dude. Every house you build underground counts as -1 house. So a public house is underground. All you'd build more public houses above ground, dude. I think this is A tier. It's like it's a good step towards the solution, but it's not like gonna solve it overnight by itself or anything.
Especially given limiting laws.
I think it's like short of S tier because there's like the research portion of this is pretty substantial. Like it will require like people, like just random community members being willing to go sift through archives. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to do the actual work, but sometimes when the work is difficult, it doesn't get done. And so that's where the most valuable work needs to be done.
Yeah. I've heard like bad things about affordable housing. Developers left to their own devices want to build more expensive housing. I've heard that somehow, because of complexities stemming from this, a lot of efforts to build affordable housing are actually just more expensive and slower to construct. Have you heard anything like this?
I mean, yeah, I've heard that sort of thing, but not from, I don't know, what I would consider to be well-intentioned arguments. I don't know.
I've heard
Like,
it from someone that seemed to be well intentioned. Sure, like people with interests, like a contractor, like a contractor who had accepted a grant to do it and had found it to be a big waste of their time. I mean, just like relative to just like building housing and like, but just not fancy housing. I don't know if that's any different. Okay.
All right. I'm satisfied with this one. Let's do a tenant's bill of rights. The tenant's bill of rights includes right to renew your lease, right to organize a tenants union, and universal right to free counsel in housing court.
What is a tenants union?
It is a union of tenants.
Meaning, like they do things like collective, or like they collectively negotiate their rent, or like
if you raise the rent too high, we're all going to walk out at once and leave you with an empty building.
Right. So they do that kind of thing?
Or well, I mean, like, no, I don't think they would all just be homeless. I think they would like stop paying rent.
Stop paying rent. Okay. Also, the right to renew your lease, meaning like,
so basically right now,
your lease,
like,
they have to keep renting to you.
Yeah, property owners now, without 2022, I believe, we had a ballot measure that didn't pass. But yeah, part of it was going to be just cause evictions, right? Like your landlord has to have a reason to evict you. They can't just like want to use the property for something else.
All right, quick. What is the funniest reason we can come up with to evict your tenant?
Too much tuba playing late into the evening.
I was going to say, like, we need to turn the tenant's apartment into a spa for their dog.
I don't know. They want to. They already have a bowling alley in the adjacent apartment, but they want to extend the lane. I don't know.
I failed. I was trying to make a good short.
No, it was a good.
I got what you were getting at. It was good.
It was a good try.
This also won't like solve that many issues by itself, right?
I mean,
no more houses are going to be built because of this by itself.
No.
I mean, it kind of has like some things feel similar to rent control, right? Like being able to like force your landlord to renew your lease is a lot like rent control.
It is a restriction on what your landlord can do. In that case, in that sense, it is similar.
Right, like what if your landlord wants to knock down the building and turn it into high density, like low cost affordable housing? Well, you can't do it because one of the tenants insists that you renew their lease.
The exact sort of thing that the realtors organization would bring up as an example of something that would never happen, but would absolutely be the hypothetical that they would bring up.
Well, but right, or like I don't know, somebody else is looking for like for an apartment, and so there's I don't know, this it's just another example of like incumbent giving these renter incumbents advantages over new renters, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we do want to give the renter incumbents some advantages. Like these are the community members. We want people to be able to stay in their homes.
I don't know. This one you need like details to like really rate it. Like you need to see all of the rights, but I don't know. I mean, it seems like good in principle.
I feel like some of it is okay. I'd have to put it below vacancy tax. Like vacancy tax just like clearly changes incentives in a way that should increase the stock of housing, which is the basic problem, is undersupply of housing. Tenant Bill of Rights, okay, it's a whole package of things. Some of them are kind of like rent control. Some of them are nice, but yeah, they don't really get at the core problems. I like how you have it.
This one is not exactly toppling the system, but it would be nice and it would be accomplishable. People go into debt sometimes, keeping up with their rent. If the collector of that debt can't collect God, I'm using collect too many times. What do you call it? The person who collects a debt holder. What's that called?
Tony Soprano?
Yeah. If Tony Soprano can't get his money, he might, if he wasn't going to whack them, he might sell that debt, and then it goes onto the debt market. So one thing we could do as an organization is buy delinquent debt at a discount and then abolish it.
So, couple technical questions. One, how can you tell rent debt from other debt? Like, people take out a mortgage to buy their house, and so that's housing debt. But like,
in order to collect the debt, you have to like prove the source of like them owing money, which will be traceable to be either like, rent or whatever.
Well, let's say somebody makes their rent payment, but they do that by putting things on their credit card that they normally would have put on their debit card, or that they normally would have paid cash. So that is rent debt.
Yeah.
Correct.
It wouldn't be captured in this.
Like, what instrument?
That is true.
What kind of instrument? So you're only talking about like people who like missed rent payments, right? So you're talking about that kind of delinquencies, rent delinquencies.
Yeah, I think this is not very good. This is like trying to stop puppy mills by like buying puppies from them. You're increasing the demand for rent debt, right?
We're not going to be generating so much cash for this effort that we're going to incentivize more debt. Like, I think we'll only reach like a small fraction of the people, realistically.
And when you say abolish, you mean pay off, right? Like, you buy up this debt and then you cancel the debt, right? So by buying
that would be abolishing. That's not paying it off.
I would say abolishing,
buying the debt.
Right. To me, abolishing it is like outlawing its existence, right? But
like
here
you
it's
can
like
no longer collect debts based on rent.
Right. Here
that was how I pictured it first too. I was like, wait, you can do that in Santa Cruz, really? I thought that.
But
was
you mean like
cool,
buying up debt and canceling the debt.
Which
is effectively you paying off the debt, right?
And you have to go through the effort to collect it too.
Yeah, I'm not so surprised that this isn't generating the most enthusiasm. This is actually a Phil original idea, but inspired by someone's basically identical scheme to do it with medical debt.
Are you talking about Mr. Beast?
No, he's
no, was it Mr. Beast?
No, these were socialists. It was like the DSA in Iowa or something.
Mr. Beast also do this? I don't actually know, but
I bet, you know what, that seems like it's the sort of thing he would do, but this was a DSA chapter that bought a bunch of medical debt and deleted it.
This is just kind of like we saved a few random orphans from the orphan crushing machine, but we did nothing to stop the orphan crushing machine from functioning.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is not exactly revolutionary action, so I can't put it higher than C.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Like, it's a nice thing to do. I mean, it's kind of like donating to a food bank, right? Like, it helps. It would help some people, like the people whose like debt you're buying up. Like, it would help them.
Very least, it definitely helps someone. So
yeah,
I'll put it at C.
Yeah.
And so I don't have just a big L on my chart.
No. No, yeah, I like it at C.
Okay. All right. Now's the real one, guys. Wild card number 1. What? Give me an idea. Come on.
Zoning reform.
Tier. What?
Zoning reform.
Zoning reform?
What percent of Santa Cruz is zoned for single family housing only? Probably a very high percent, right?
Yeah, this is good. And we don't benefit in the same way that a lot of other cities do from the recent efforts to upzone by transit stops. Like, we don't have like the same sort of public transit infrastructure. So yeah, zoning reform is not a bad idea at all. Maybe it deserves to go up here with bad public housing, or build public housing, bad public housing.
What a Freudian slip.
Yeah, build public housing, because this requires an incredible amount of deep cut research.
No way, dude. You could just easily like bozo solution this. Just get rid of all zoning laws, right?
Oh, yes. I wonder if there would be any pushback from. Yeah. No, I mean, that would be my solution, but that's just sort of how I feel about zoning laws in general.
Yeah, I like this solution.
I want like a Kowloon walled city situation. Build it all and let God sort it out.
Yeah, I like this situation, or this solution, and I generally like the shape that this is taking. Like, the top 3 choices right now are all like fairly blunt, like market shifting instruments that will lead to more supply.
Yeah. The blunter, the better. I want to have an actual impact here. All right, wild card number 2. What do we got?
You want to take this one, David? I do have one more idea.
Well, yeah,
if you don't have one,
I'm blank.
completely streamline the like building approval process. Because I bet it is very long and expensive if you want to build a new house on land that you already own to get all the permits and all of that. And so if you
Streamline it.
So like, basically you like as a city, like you guarantee like the maximum cost and time that it will take to get your like permits to develop like on land that you own. This is something that they're trying to do here in Portland right now. And it's like somewhat mixed results. Like they're speeding up, but like not nearly as much as they promised, as far as I know.
Well, mixed results means it's working a little bit. So when you streamline these things, are you then kind of like giving up on certain regulations? Like
Sometimes.
Possibly. It depends. Like you got to look at them and see if they still, would it be worse to have the garage 6 inches too close to the house, or would it be better to like have another house, Like these, the problems that these regulations are solving are quite possibly less bad than our current housing problem. And so...
Sure. I mean, this is not as exciting.
No, this is like the unsexiest possible thing. Ooh, let's reform the bureaucracy.
No, I mean, I'll do you one better is like fun to study to means to efficacy test the current regulatory state. like not even streamlining the process, just doing the research to see how to best streamline the process.
I think it's an interesting one because owners would love this too, right? So like build public housing, like owners might not care about particularly, but they wouldn't be in favor of it. Well, what was the other wild card? Zoning changes
reform.
They would be against.
Very strongly against.
Right. Vacancy tax they would be against, but like speeding up permitting to do construction on their property they would be for. So this could be a big political winner. So yeah, moderately useful and probably a winner politically. So it's B.
So that's an S tier, dude.
No, it's B. It's B. It's not effective enough.
All right. So what would it take to be S tier here? Goodness gracious. There's just no S tier solution, or what? Oh, at least 2 people have to agree that it's S tier before it can go into S tier.
Hey, none of you guys pay dues. I'm the only one who gets to vote here. No, I don't know. I mean, this is it's B for the time-honored reason that it evens up the symmetry.
I mean, I
just don't think that it's I don't think I could sell it as easily as the zoning reform, like to a group of, like
diehard communists. Right. They want to punish the upper classes. They don't want something that would appeal to the upper classes. That doesn't feel like a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And keep thinking like that, and you end up with Donald Trump as the president, dude.
Wait.
I don't think we ended up with Donald Trump because we appealed too heavily to socialists.
No, but I mean that idea of like, I'm going to shoot this down because the people who I hate like it, not because, on its merits.
Right.
The mirror image of voting for Trump to own the libs, right?
Gotcha.
So people have done things like subsidize housing, right? Just like give people, pay some portion of people's rent, right?
That exists already. There's like a housing voucher system.
Yeah. So how about, not that I think this is a good idea, but how about we double it or give more money
for housing vouchers.
Double housing vouchers. Just because there's a third wild card.
Okay.
Not because I like it.
I'm going to put that in D.
It's like making college cheaper by having freely abundant student loans.
No, this is grant. These are grants, not loans.
Yeah, but the point is, if the buyers have more money, the thing they're buying will get more expensive, right?
But I mean, in terms of like people going out on the street. So do you think this would instantly?
This is a solution that re-entrenches the power of the current power holders. This like puts money from the government into the hands of large landowners.
Right. Like if you gave every renter $200 a month to pay rent, like they would just increase rents by $200 a month immediately, right?
Yeah.
Would they?
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, they absolutely would. I mean, their software would catch it. The sort of illegal rent maximizing software that like BlackRock and others keep getting caught with would optimize for that. Maybe increase it more. Who knows? I like public housing and the zoning. I think those are good things to bring up at the meeting. How are we going to sell it? I'm going to be relying on you even more because I've got a guest here and you're going to have to sell it to him.
Well, hey, Rick.
Richard Target.
What's up, motherfuckers? I'm Rick Target. I'm the target audience, and I want you to sell me on public housing.
Do you own your home, Rick?
I do not. I do not own my home.
And how much do you
No,
pay in
I
rent?
am leasing my motorhome. I think that if we have public housing, there's going to be a lot of crime because all the reprobates are going to move in and they're gonna crime up the place.
Have you researched that and found any data that agrees with that?
I've done the best research I ever could by listening to Hannity.
I bet there are studies on that. We should look it up sometime. Because, I mean,
studies from
Hannity could be wrong.
those liberal elite universities? I don't think so. I don't need those.
All right. Do you believe in supply and demand, Mr. Target? That when
Of course.
supply is higher, the price will be lower?
Yep, it's God's law, the law of capitalism.
And so if you build more houses, the price of housing will go down, right?
Well, that might just increase the demand for housing. Look at all this housing they're building. It's a good time to be buying houses.
If they're building a lot of houses, wouldn't it be a terrible time to build houses because the price is about to go down?
I don't follow.
I mean, if you're buying the house as an investment, then you want the value to go up, right? But if you're building a lot of houses, the value will go down.
You're talking about investments. Speaking of investments, I've got a meme coin I'd like to sell you. It's called Shitcoin or some fucking shit. I don't know. I'm bailing.
Probably Rick Target's not the real person you got to sell this to, huh?
Well, he's the target audience. He's always the person we need to sell it to.
But in Santa Cruz, like, probably
There's not a
looking
lot of
for,
Rick Target.
like, beach vacation homeowner.
Crunchy millionaire hippies.
Well, thanks, boys. I'm going to be taking that to my local Reds, and if you want to take a housing solution to your local branch of the DSA, then do that. But also, like and subscribe to InfoHazard. Click on the things, do the comments, and go upstairs to the attic to kiss your grandma. Good night. Mwah.
Your grandma, your attic.